What's up guys, I'm Maureen Moody and I'm the Curious Stylist, and today I'm going to be going over my favorite method for doing a double process with really long grown out roots. A few weeks ago, after the beer bottle bug came through, I had a couple of guests that needed a little bit more extensive help than what they would normally need. And with a double process, you know, if you don't get it done for 3 weeks, the hair that kind of grows out from that is not going to lift quite as easily as the rest of the hair, and you'll get banding. So one of my favorite things to do is to do what they call a platinum card method. And I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to break down what I did and why I did it. And some things that I think I would have changed if I could have. I mean, her hair came out great, but some things that I like to do. So I have to say that I absolutely love Blondme for my double processes. I cannot get over how effective this lightener works, and when I use it, I usually mix my ratio of 1 part. So I would do 30 grams of Blondme to 60 grams of developer, and generally I use a very low volume peroxide between a 7 and a 20 to lift somebody. So here is Stephanie, and she has a pretty long regrowth, and this is what I was able to do with her in 1 session. So as you can see, I'm putting the foil board. I'm using the foil board primarily because it really helps me to control the product and not overlap the lightener onto the hair that's been previously lightened. Now, some things that I wish I had done a little bit differently with this particular job was I wish I had not brought the lightener so far up. I mean, I am stopping about a ½ inch, or a ¼ of an inch. I wish it was just a little bit more I had given her. And when I do the hair, generally when I do a double process, about the inch around the hairline, I leave that hair out and I don't put that in the foils. I go back around and resaturate that because the hair around the hairline is generally a lot more delicate. I mean, with 7 volume, the hair is going to be fine, and it was in great condition and super gentle. So that was a good thing. The pandemic, she had taken the time to highlight her own hair. And so I was being mindful of that too when I was applying the lightener and just trying to avoid certain areas and go back later. But with the 7 volume, it really helped to be a lot more gentle, and I was really thankful that I went that route. In normal circumstances, I do not have to do a platinum card method on her, but because the regrowth is so long, the foils is a really effective way of tackling the banding that would have happened if I just put lightener on and didn't put it in the foils. This really helps to lift it nice and clean. This application is done evenly throughout the head so you don't have any hollows. What I mean by hollows is you want to make sure that you don't leave any sections of the hair where you didn't apply the lightener to, because that will be an uneven application. So that is what I'm talking about when I tell you to make sure you take your time and cover the entire head. You don't want any orange spots later on. The darker the person's hair is, the harder it is to get that even application if you miss a spot. And that is part of the reason why I chose this particular method. Now I'm onto the back of the head, and I am just working systematically up. When I fold the foils, you notice that I'm not going crazy with making sure that I fold these crazy. You don't have to. This is a double process, so when you are doing these, you just need to fold it over once. Don't worry about the foils slipping or anything, because in the end, you're going to be applying lightener to the roots anyway, so you don't have to worry about it. Besides that too, it's less bulky when you just do 1 fold over. It's a lot less bulky, and you can get a lot more foils in there without it getting really puffy and weird. So when I am doing a double process, I only need to do one fold. And that is like one of my favorite things about this particular method, is just this method is. You don't have to complicate it, just one fold and you are done. As I'm getting to the top, I'm still using my board. I love the board. It really did stop me from overlapping that lightener, and I highly recommend, if you haven't tried doing that when you do this with extended roots, try that board. It will help you to not overlap the products, and I really like that for that reason. So I am now continuing to, I'm still using 7 volume. I might have put a little bit of 20 at this point, but I'm really mindful of not getting that too high. Now you can see.
Do me a favor, if you are finding value in this content, please smash the like button and subscribe. I make weekly videos. So if you are enjoying this content, this is part of my Blondme Basics series. So if you're interested, I've also done a Blondme balayage video. I'm going to link it up here. Or if you're interested in my top 5 secrets for Blondme, I'll be linking that here too.
Now you can see I'm also starting to put the lightener all around and using it sort of like an accordion. So all these little packets I'm smoothing around and I'm putting the lightener in between. I find this to be the best way to do these double processes when they have long regrowths, is to keep them in the packets and then flip them over, as you can see, and apply the lightener. I don't like taking the packets out because it hurts the client having to go and move the lightener around. After you've taken the packets out, the hair all starts to mesh together. And so then when you start parting the hair to apply it to the scalp, it just really hurts them. So keeping those packets intact are great. And you're going to see, I'm going to flip it over and see, look, there's a little bit that needs to be resaturated. And that's kind of fun too, because as you're working with your foils, you can reopen them up and then see how they're progressing. And the last ones you can actually put more lightener on, and that'll help it to move along a little bit quicker. Because the more you saturate the hair nice and even, the better it's going to take and the better it's going to move the product along. And as you can see, I'm just painting it on. And it's a lot, when you keep them in the packet, it's a lot less painful for the guest. And that's really important to me, that, you know, they don't feel, having lightener on your head for 45 minutes can be, you know, quite an ordeal within itself, but having to really pull through to get it there is it's really painful. And so this is why I keep it in the packets. It really helps. And then at one point I will pull it all out and see if there's any hollows or spots that I need to hit with the lightener, but most of the time I don't have too much of a problem with that. So I'm going to let this process for a couple minutes. And now I'm starting to pull the foils down a little bit more. And as you can see the top is, you know, still a little more yellow. And those are the little hollows that I need to take care of. But for the most part, it's looking really good as I'm working through. Now I did lift her to a level 9. And a lot of times when I am working with a double process, I did have to do like a bleach wash on her end to brighten them up a little bit because it had been a while. But I used Schwarzkopf to tone her, and I used Schwarzkopf 9 and 9-1, and I did a 1 to 1.5 ratio when I toned her. So I used Agora Royal, which is the permanent color, and I did 7 volumes. So I did like, you know, 15 grams of the 9-0 and 15 grams of the 9-1 with 45 grams of 7 volume. And I placed that on her hair for about 10 minutes. And then on her ends, I used 9.5-1 9.5-22 and 9.5-4 to tone out her ends. Just make them nice and light and just a pretty white color. She has pink from when we did her hair once before, but I really can't pull that out. Her hair is a little more delicate towards the ends and I didn't want to destroy her hair. So I'm just keeping the pink and she likes it anyway. So I was really happy with the way this came out, and I'm going to leave some after pictures. And I hope you liked this content. I'm Maureen Moody. I'm the Curious Stylist, and I want to build your confidence in your career through education and science.
One of my #1 hot secrets is if they are level 6 and lighter, you really don't have to use more than a 7 volume to get them where you need them to go. So I hope that you found this content to be helpful, and if you do, please like and subscribe. I make weekly videos.